Hey guys, welcome back in. We are talking today about better habits, better results. On the heels of nailing standard operating procedures, but I think it was something like 15 systems on 48 different SOPs last week. We're going to talk about our favorite book, one of our favorite books, Atomic Habits, and the strategies and the actual takeaways, 5 top takeaways that help you to build these SOPs into habits, because as we know, the better your habits get, your habitual activities get, the better the results get.
Yeah, well, and the SOPs are great, but they don't do anything if you don't implement, right? And so Atomic Habits and building out the habits really help you implement this. And it's about becoming like part of that identity. That is one of the steps in Atomic Habits, and making it when you don't want to do something, that's usually something we should do, right?
Yeah.
Like when I usually don't want to go to the gym, it's usually the time I should probably go to the gym. When I don't want to make my bed, it's usually the time I should make my bed. Like
True.
all of those things, right? So in Atomic Habits, and how do we take all of these standard operating procedures and implement them in our day without feeling super overwhelmed, and making sure it becomes a consistent practice that we're doing, so we have consistent action, consistent efforts, which we know equal consistent results.
And, you know, I'm glad you said overwhelm, and how do you make it consistent and not overwhelming? And the first principle numero uno, is the 1% rule.
Right.
So consistent aggregate improvement. That means like kind of that cliche of I'm 1% better every day. But 1% improvements over time is 100, 200, 300% better than it was in 300 days.
Absolutely.
Or whatever your metric. So, and it keeps it doable. Like
Yeah.
I just have to sit and tolerate the pain, or do one more set, or the power of one more.
I was
like
going to say Ed Milet. Yeah.
Yeah. And so but it makes it in small bites, which I can do small bites. I can't eat the whole elephant in one bite.
Right. Well, I think it was like, it might have been Tuesday or something. We had a gnarly day. We did not want to make our calls when we got home. I was like, I do not want to do this. And I hit 25 and I was like, I got 2 more in me. And I hit 27. And it was like, you pass through that one more, right? You're like, okay, I got 1 more in me.
Hell
Just like
yeah.
reps, like you said, you can do 1 more. And then when you break that barrier, it does something to you internally. It gives you that extra little confidence boost, because now you know, right? And now when you know what you know, that you've already pushed through that barrier of what you've already pushed through, you're like, I can't go back.
Yeah.
I can't go back to the thermostat, you know, like we talked about before. Our body likes to go back and regulate to that nice, cool, like 72, when we know we've gone up about, or we know how to go above it. So how we can't go back.
Exactly. And then you know it here instead of here, right? 'Cause
Right.
my brain gets loud. It says, man, you don't have to today. You've been making calls for 500 days in a row. Today, you deserve some time off. And then that's why I keep my brain in my feet and I just get into action.
Yeah.
Because in the action is what delivers the results every single time. Out of action, and
Well, and we know that's
no
when we
results.
self-sabotage too, is when we are doing good, right? Like,
right?
That's usually when you self-sabotage. When you start doing good, you're like, oh, I've done this. Okay, I can I can kick it for a little bit.
Exactly.
And then that day turns into a couple days. Next thing you know, you're in a habit of not doing shit for like 2 weeks. And you're like, oh, I gotta get this back up. And then it's so much harder to restart once we know. And I think it's important too, because you know those people, you see them, or you can kind of recognize them, like the people that shorten their workouts or half-ass kind of what they're doing, or when they walk past the hose, they don't roll it up. Those kind of people, you recognize them. And I know for me, like I get in my head at the gym, and you know, you're counting reps and stuff, and you're like, man, do I have to do 12? Can I stop at 10? Like, can I stop? But then you push yourself to do those extra too. And you know, there's people that are stopping at 10, stopping at 8, that they're like, it says 12 on the board, but like, I'm not doing 12. And you know, there's those people. So that's where that 1% more really helps you push that extra next level, which when you hit that, like you said, you know it here. And then it's kind of hard to go back, because then you're like, ooh, I don't want to be that person again. Yeah.
you know, and then I mean, life has all kinds of curveballs up its sleeve. So when you have habits, you know where to go.
Yeah.
You have trained yourself in a routine fashion on where to go and what works. And it reminds me of my favorite quote, which is, every action we take is a vote for the person we want to become. And that
Isn't that James Clear?
That's right out of Atomic
I'm like,
Habits.
isn't that out of the book? Yeah.
It's not one of the steps, but I wanted to weave it in.
I'm like,
So
wait, I know that.
So step 2 is the one we've talked about a lot, is habit stacking. So what's habit stacking?
So habit stacking is adding on to something you already do every single day, like brushing your teeth. I hope you brush your teeth every day.
You should definitely do that. You should definitely do that.
You know, if you're like, oh man, I want to get, like, I think you added doing push-ups or something, like after you brush your teeth, like you do like 10 push-ups or something like that. So if you want to read more books, if you sit on your couch every single night at the certain time at 7:00 before, like, and you're ready to like decompress, maybe pick up a book and read 5 pages as soon as you sit down. As soon, like, so habit stacking is when you're already doing something that you do anyways, add the habit that you want to do onto the back of that.
That's so smart, because you know that said activity is going to happen. Come hell or high water, rain or snow, whatever it is, you're doing this one thing. So when you add the thing on top of it, it just comes along with it over time.
Right.
And you can stack those habits. And we're looking for ways to less effort or little effort, maximum results. So you're already doing that thing. Throw the jumping jacks, throw the 10 push-ups, throw the 10 pages, throw the whatever activity you'd like to be better at right on the back of that thing that is going to happen. And you have the likelihood of it happening goes through the roof.
I mean, if you sit down every morning and you run through hot sheets and you run through, you know, what the data is for the San Diego MLS or something, maybe after that, make 5 calls. Like 5 calls to update buyers, or 5 calls to update sellers, or 5 calls around the open house that you're having this weekend. Like, you know, start adding those little things in.
Genius.
Because you're already doing it and you know we should be doing it. So if that's something you do every day, add in, okay, I have to make my 5 calls right after I look at my hot sheets, because you're fresh. You have all those numbers. You have all the updates. So why not call and update your buyers?
Confidence. You know what the market is on the move.
Like, call, update your people.
Okay, which leads us to 3, because that would be an obvious thing to do after, and we want to make it obvious. So number 3, make it obvious. So if I want to run in the morning and I know I'm going to get up a little groggy and I'm going to have a case of the don't want to, so in order then to not become the ain't gonnas, right? I better have my running shoes, my socks, my things, my everything ready to rock and roll. So it's less friction. The more friction, the less likelihood I do it. The more easy I make it for myself and obvious. I've got sticky notes all over the mirror. Get out there, you know, run first, whatever. Make it obvious so that it's easy to do the thing.
Yeah, I mean, have your water bottle already filled up, ready to go with your protein powder or your whatever. What's the stuff you put in before? Pre-workout. Like, I don't take that, so I wouldn't know.
Post-workout is like a donut.
I'm like, I put my creatine powder in there and I'm good. Like, that's what I got. So, you know, get your drink ready. Get your, like you said, have your shoes, have your workout outfit ready, have it ready to go. So you just have to put it on. You don't have to think. You just got to put it on and go.
Well, like for us, like we know who we're calling, what we're saying, and why we're saying it. And before we even make our calls, that makes the calls so much easier, because a lot of people are like, I got to make calls in a frenzy, and they don't know what the messaging is. They don't know the context of the relationship. And that's why people tend to shy away from getting voice-to-voice contacts, because they don't know what the list is. They don't know what the message is. So it doesn't happen.
It does. Yeah. Then they're like, oh, then I don't have to make calls.
I have laundry to do. I got to vacuum my car all of a sudden. Like,
so when you make it very clear and obvious, it just makes it easier to do. So that leads us into number, are we on 5?
4.
4. Yes. I'm like, wait, we're on 4.
Identity-based goals. So what's the difference between a metric-based goal and an identity-based goal?
So an identity-based, like, you know, we're on the theme of calls. Somebody says, like, I'm not a caller. I don't like making calls. Well, congratulations. You're not alone. Nobody does. Nobody is. But when you make it an identity of, hey, this is part of my business. This is who I am. I am a caller. I do this as part of my business. You make it as an identity of something that you do. Like, you know, the example of, I'm not a runner. Well, I enjoy running. I'm choosing to be a runner Like,
Yeah.
I'm a runner.
Or like you get this crazy goal, and people do this all the time. I want to run a marathon. I want to run at least one.
Yeah.
And a better goal would be like to become and adopt, I am a runner. Because before you run a marathon, you better become a runner.
I
right?
think you'd have to be.
So, and not to mention the way back to the person is like, I'm not a caller. It's just not something I do. That's just a story.
Yeah.
You can change the
It's a narrative. Yeah.
Right. And the mind wants to tell me all kinds of stories. And I have to stand guard at the gateway of my mind to be careful what stories get in there, because it can get kind of dangerous and nasty.
And you start believing those stories.
You definitely do. Because your own narrative and what you watch and what you tell yourself weaves itself into your self dialogue, which is we're most impressionable to what we tell ourselves in our head. And we are not our thoughts. We are not the voice in our head. We command the voice in our head if we choose to.
Yeah.
So you can change that story. And I love the identity-based goals because I have what it takes. I'm up to the challenge. I am a person that helps other professionals.
It's like affirmations in a way.
Exactly. And just weave those new stories in, those identity-based goals in, and then those standard operating procedures, those metrics that we talked about, become real and become part of who you are. So it's not something that we do, it's who we are.
It's
and
just,
that's when you have arrived.
Well, and it's just something that we do as a natural habit now. And like you said, it's just something who we are. It's just part of the day. It's something we don't even think about. It's just what we do.
Exactly.
It's just part of it. So when you do these things and you have you have your goals in mind, you know what you want to do, you understand how to get the concept there. You're like, okay, I got the 1% down. I got the identity thing down. Now, how do I tie this all together? For us, I know this really helps me is tracking everything. Like when you are tracking your habits and you're tracking something that you want to do consistently, when you track it and you have that X or you check that box, there's that little feeling of completeness.
Well, like, do you remember what Ryan Holiday talked about in the Daily Stoic about Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh, yeah. Of his calendar with his little X's, his red X. He made a joke every day, whether it was stupid, whether it was
garbage.
But he still practiced every day.
And then you don't break the streak.
No, you don't break the chain.
Don't break the chain.
Don't break the chain.
Yes. And if you do, there's a 2-day rule, right? Yeah. You can slip up, and look, we're human. We are subject to the human condition. We are going to have those days. But you just don't break the chain 2 days in a row, because then you lose that routine.
You lose the momentum,
Right.
For sure.
And I mean, I forget the exact saying, but once is an accident, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern. So you have now entered a new pattern.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't want to lose that momentum. And there's something about momentum. When you got the big mo, you want to hold on to it, because Lord knows when we don't have momentum, it's hard.
Yeah.
At a dead start and beginning is tough.
Well, and it's hard too when you have that momentum and you feel it and you're kicking ass and and then you, like we were talking about earlier, when you self-sabotage because you feel it and you're like, oh, I freaking got it. I got this shit going. I lost my 15 pounds. I did this. I got my shit going. I got my money in the bank.
3 deals.
I did what I needed to do. And then that's when we self-sabotage. Oh, yeah. It's never when we're like at rock bottom and when we're fucking up or we like, oh, we keep self-sabotaging. No, it's usually when we hit our goals or when we're doing well, we're like, I'm going to go get the Cold Stone now. I hit my 15. And then the Cold Stone gets the next night. And then that falls into the pattern of maybe you're not eating as healthy again as you were because you're like, oh, I lost. And the next thing you know, you get on the scale and those 5 pounds, 7 pounds, those things start to creep back up. And then it's so much harder to get back into it, to have to figure it out again, to re-lose it. Same thing with any kind of habit, I feel. So it's like when you have that momentum and you got it, you really don't want to let that go. Whoa. This thing almost fell into my face.
Well, I think it's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady, whether it was a loss or winning a Super Bowl, his response was pretty similar. Back to work.
Yeah.
And you can tell the true professionals, they could get a $3 million listing closed and then lose a $5 million listing. The response is similar.
Yeah.
There's jubilation, there's a celebration. Take 2 minutes to celebrate, back to work.
Yeah.
In the case of loss, you take 2 minutes, kick the dirt, curse the sky, back to work. The professional is a subject of their routines because we are what we do repeatedly, Aristotle. Therefore, excellence is a choice. So what are you choosing? What story are you choosing? What repeatable, habitual activities are you doing? And if you don't like the circumstances, if you don't like the scoreboard, if you look around your life and you don't like what you see, you might want to take a look at what your habits are.
Yeah.
Because for me and my story, I know when I change my habits, I change the results. And I like the results. So I keep those habits and try to constantly top grade those habits.
Yeah.
And I think you follow suit, and that's what we do on our team.
I think that's for most people usually.
Yeah.
Usually, like, hopefully we're not falling into bad habits here at this point in our life.
I love it.
I know. We've all been there. We've all had those
I
moments.
can show you the scars.
We've all had those moments, you know, but when we find these good habits and these things that really put us in a good trajectory and a good point in our lives, hold on to those things. And like you said, try to top grade them. Try to do 1%. Like, I don't know, I'm like on this huge podcast. We're always kind of on a podcast kick, but like, I feel like I'm listening to them like 24/7 right now.
You've been sending me some
I know. I'm like on them
bangers.
nonstop right now. I'm like, I'm not even watching TV. I'm like not even doing anything else. That's like all I'm doing right now. And that's just because that suits me. Why would I watch TV for things that don't suit me? And that's, you know, goes for alcohol, things like that. If it doesn't bring you value in your life, if it doesn't suit you in a good way, maybe take a look at it. Maybe see if there's something we can change in those habits, you know?
Well said. Well said. So those are 5 things that are habits and way to produce better results by producing better habits in your life. Straight out of Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it, get into it. It's worth the time. And it'll help you with all those standard operating procedures and all the things.
Yeah.
All the things. If we do things, then we get results, right? If you find the good things that work for you, that you enjoy doing, make them habits. If you do that, I think you'll really enjoy the results.
Absolutely. And we're always trying to tweak this too. Trust me, we fall out of rhythm. We fall out of momentum. We have to do it again.
Only all the time.
Only like every day. So, so hit us up if you have things that help you. It might help us. So we are just happy to be a part of the team with you.
All right. Until next time, I'm Ryan.
I'm Haley.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.